Hi friends, please subscribe and like my channel.
Mark, just Dad. In her heart, in her words, in the way she'd cling to me during lightning storms or beg for help with geometry homework. Emma was only 3 when I met her mom, Sarah. Her biological father, Ryan, vanished a month before her birth. No note, no farewell, just gone. Sarah was scraping by, working 2 jobs to keep them afloat. When Sarah and I grew close, I knew I wasn't just signing up for a relationship. I was stepping into the most important role I'd ever have, and I embraced it fully. I taught Emma how to pedal a bike, wobbling along beside her. I was there when she fell in 5th grade, refusing the school nurse until Dad arrived. I stayed up late running lines for her school play, drove her to soccer practice, held her hand at the dentist, and even learned to French braid her hair. Clumsily at first, but she didn't care. By age 11, she was proudly calling me Dad to her friends and teachers. No one batted an eye. Blood didn't matter. I loved her like she was my own. She was my daughter in every way that counted. Then Ryan reappeared. Emma was 18, fresh off her graduation party, where I gave a speech that left everyone, including her, in tears. A week later, a message from Ryan popped up on her social media, the man who'd left before she could speak her first word. I was wary, naturally. Sarah was furious. Where was he when she had bronchitis? When she cried before exams, she raged. Now he wants to swoop in and play father? But Emma was curious, and I got it. I told her to meet him, carefully. If he's truly changed, I'll be glad for you, I said. What I didn't expect was to be erased. Within weeks, she stopped calling me Dad. Suddenly, I was Mark again, like some distant cousin. No birthday message came that year. She posted photos with Ryan on social media, captioned, "Finally whole. My true father." True father. Those words hit like a freight train. That first Christmas after Ryan's return, she skipped our family dinner to spend it with him and his new family, strangers she'd just met. Sarah tried to reason with her, begging her not to wipe away 15 years of memories. But Emma was resolute. It was as if I'd never existed. Sarah and I had split up by then, but we stayed close. Late-night calls often turned to tears over Emma. "Did you see her latest post?" Sarah would ask. She blamed herself, thinking her bitterness toward Ryan had skewed Emma's perspective. But I didn't fault Sarah. I knew how easily a young adult could chase a shiny new dream when life felt messy. 2 years passed. Silence. Then, one afternoon, my phone rang. Emma. I stared at her name for what felt like forever before answering. "Hey, Mark," she said, as if no time had passed, as if I hadn't mourned her absence every day for 730 days. She said Ryan had vanished again. No texts, no birthday call, no promised road trip. Just gone, like before. Now she wanted to talk, to rebuild, to make things right. I listened. I let her pour out her heart. Then I spoke my truth. For 15 years, Emma, I was there. Every skinned knee, every bad dream, every milestone. You were my daughter, but the moment someone new dangled a promise, you let me go without a second thought. Now that he's gone again, you're turning to me like I'm a fallback plan. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done." She sobbed, apologizing, saying she was young, lost, chasing a fantasy she thought she needed. I believed her sincerity, but belief didn't mean I was ready to open the door again. Sarah called the next day. She'd heard from Emma too, and surprisingly supported my stance. "I begged her not to do this," Sarah said. "She treated you like a stand-in. She can't undo that, and neither can I." We talked for hours that night about Emma. about the weight of parenting a child who wasn't biologically yours, about losing her in ways we never expected. Sarah suggested therapy, not as a couple, she clarified, but as two people grieving a child we thought would always be ours. So we went. We're still going every other Tuesday, unpacking forgiveness, boundaries, and the reality that parenting doesn't always end with closure. Sometimes there's no thank you. Sometimes there's no happy reunion. Sometimes love leaves you with empty seats and fading photos. Emma still reaches out. I respond sometimes, polite but guarded. She asked if she could call me Dad again. I said, not yet. That word isn't just a title. It's a vow I never broke. Therapy was something I never thought I'd need. For years I buried the pain. Every time I saw Emma's posts online, every moment I felt like a stranger in my own life. I thought moving on meant locking it away and acting fine. But in that quiet therapy room with Sarah across from me and a counselor asking piercing questions, I realized my grief wasn't just about Emma. It was about who I became for her and who I had to let go to keep going. I still buy her favorite snack sometimes, Sarah admitted in our 4th session, or start to text her about something silly. Then I remember she's not that little girl anymore. She's a stranger now. She looked at me, her voice trembling. We both lost her, just differently. I nodded. Sarah lost a daughter who grew distant. I lost a daughter who stopped seeing me as her father. The therapist asked, "Do you hope to reconcile with Emma?" Sarah didn't pause. Yes, but only if she's grounded. No more chasing real dad dreams. No more rewriting the past. I said, I'd need her to own what she did, not just apologize, but understand what it meant to discard someone who showed up for 15 years. We left that session subdued. Sarah walked me to my car and lingered. She's been texting me, asking if you'll ever forgive her. I exhaled. Forgiveness is possible, but trust, that's a long road, maybe a lifetime. Weeks later, Emma sent a letter. Not a text, not an email, but a handwritten 3-page letter. She didn't ask for anything. She just told her truth. She wrote about her guilt, the thrill of meeting her biological father, the desperate hope that she hadn't been abandoned. She described how his charm and promises felt intoxicating, how they slowly rewrote her reality. She admitted she was ashamed of how she treated me, that she took my love for granted, assuming I'd always be there no matter how she hurt me. When Ryan vanished again, no note, no goodbye, she realized she hadn't just lost him. She'd already destroyed the bridge to the only father she'd ever truly known. She ended the letter. You were always my dad. I lost sight of what that meant. If I never earn your forgiveness, I understand, but I'll keep trying. I wept after reading it, for hours. I haven't replied yet, not to punish her, but because I want my response to come from clarity, not raw emotion. In therapy, Sarah and I discussed it. She's making an effort, Sarah said gently. But you don't owe her a second chance just because she's ready now. Our therapist nodded. Forgiveness doesn't mean reopening wounds. It can mean letting go, peacefully, without letting her back in. That's where I stand now. Some days, I miss her fiercely. I wonder what could have been if she'd let both Ryan and me into her life. If she'd seen that love isn't a contest, that family isn't about blood. But then I remember the silence, the missed birthdays, the empty chairs at Christmas, the way she called me Mark, like I was a placeholder in her story. Some wounds don't heal overnight. Sarah and I are no longer a couple and never will be. but we found a quiet solace in each other, a shared understanding, a lifeline in the aftermath. We both raised her, we both lost her, and now we're both healing, one step at a time. Months later, I volunteered at a local school's father-daughter science fair. Not as a parent, but as a mentor to a timid 9-year-old neighbor, Mia. Her father died years ago, and her mom asked if I'd help with her vinegar and baking soda volcano. Kneeling beside Mia, watching her eyes sparkle as the volcano erupted, something stirred in me. That warmth, that pride, that joy. It was still there. I may never be dad to Emma again, but that part of me isn't gone. It's waiting, ready for the right place to call home again someday. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.